So here with Raymond Guns from Dope CFO. How you doing?
Doing good. It's never bad.
Yeah. So MJB's gone so far. How's it shaking out for you?
It's shaking out pretty good.
Yeah.
I've been playing some sports, did a little golfing, did a little pickleball, went to the Expo floor today.
Hey, went to the expo. There you go. There you go.
Yes,
that's about right.
Did that, and and I was at the finance forum and the Remind Psychedelics, so it's like good.
Wow.
A little bit of education, a little bit of networking.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So in terms of your business, you're sort of an accounting platform. Tell us more about what you're doing and how that sort of, well, what your sort of hopes for next year are. As you know, we're hoping for a bit more sort of rescheduling of cannabis and safe banking here in the US. What are you kind of looking at the moment?
So yeah, what do? The accounting and finance, the boring work. We don't grow weed, we don't sell weed, we just do all the manage the money. So our hopes from that perspective is, for sure rescheduling, just taking it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, kind of makes the 280 tax go away, which just frees up a lot of cash flow, which we can use to not pay Uncle Sam and pay the investors, expand, do other
Maybe
things.
Just write some expenses off or something,
Yep. So hoping
nice.
for rescheduling and just, I'd say that's probably the starting point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I guess in terms of sort of this year and looking ahead to sort of 2025, what have you seen change this year, and what are you hoping for next year? What do you think will be some of those key things that will shake the industry up?
What I think has changed is actually just expectations and timelines. People have longer timelines and more tampered, realistic expectations of how much cannabis people can consume, which ultimately is how much cannabis we can sell.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited for. And in 2025, it's just going to be more of that.
Right.
Realistic business expectations and because it's still a fun industry to be in. It's still a very exciting industry to be in. And so people try to bemoan where we're at now because of the glory days when a pound was $3,000. It's like, well, just it's the nature of the.
That was a kind of unrealistic.
Yeah, it was like legacy to legit days. We're in the legit days. Yeah. This is just how the industry is.
This is it. But in terms of, I guess, are you kind of working internationally, or is it just kind of US because of the nature of the sort of work that you're doing, I suppose?
We're just in the US because of the nature of the cannabis, the global cannabis industry. The bulk of it is in one country.
Yes.
That happens to be the United States, so that's why we focus here. But nothing against the global supply chain. Like, we definitely want to be involved. And for us, we come from global businesses, a lot of our team. And so we understand multinational business. So for us, multi-entity and multi-country, it's very common.
Yeah.
And so we're excited for these countries to kind of, not countries, but companies to grow into multinational companies.
And do you think, again, talking about realistic expectations, do you think there's going to be any huge shifts in the sort of next 12 months? Or do you feel like it's
No, like realistic expectations are make a profitable cannabis company. That's still like the best way for your next 12 months to be better. So like there's not going to be any like crazy changes. Maybe rescheduling happens, which would be great.
Yeah.
But I would say that is the only thing that may change in 12 months. Is that would be a large catalyst.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's business as usual.
Yeah. That's it. I think business as usual is kind of overlooked in a way. You know what I mean? It is the kind of the economic engine of any sector. Just say, look, we have a profitable industry, and sort of getting to that point almost in cannabis feels like, well, it's not a big ask, but it is,
Yep.
So
it's getting to free cash flow. And so it used to, a lot of talking right now for sure, it's talk about capital, raising capital and tax strategy. But at the end of the day, you only pay taxes on your profits. So you still got to run a profitable business. And that comes down to getting to free cash flow and the boring work of the SOPs and controls.
And if Uncle Sam wants his piece, he's got to make it easier to do business. He wants more tax, right? So that's what it comes down to essentially. So
yeah, for sure.
That's it. But things can only get better, as they say.
That's kind of where my mind's at. It's like people kind of get a little stressed, but I think it can only go up from here. It's like every year a few new markets open up in the United States. Every few months within those states, new markets open up, new players enter. And like, yes, there's capped license markets, but even within those markets, there's still development happening. And so it's an exciting time.
Yeah, it's exciting and sustainable growth as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, do it at the right pace at the right time rather than just trying to rush everything and say, we need a new market now to happen. But, let it happen of its own accord in many respects.
And I kind of come back again to the profitability, and I know it's hard out there for everybody, so I don't want to oversimplify business because I know it is, but it's before people get excited about expanding to new markets, it's like many people are already operating, and so it's like get the
Yep.
current operations cash flow positive, then we can worry about expanding to new markets, because everybody wants to grow their business. You know, a single state operator who wants to become a multi-state operator. A multi-state operator wants to become a pubco in a, you know, either on Canada or the, you know, the United States. A pubco wants to become a global company. So we're all just in these phases of growth, and so working together is kind of helps build us all together, and kind of like, it's very interesting to grow this industry in real time. I was too young for the internet, so I think of the cannabis industry very much like I'm in the prime of my career to serve this industry that like didn't exist pre-prohibition. Then they legalized, raised capital has been raised, licenses have been secured, real estate has been secured, buildings have been built, and so it's very much happening in real time, and that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. Great to
Awesome.
get your perspective.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Cool.
For having me.